Hello, everybody. Usually I'll do a video about how I'm doing. I want to do a video of how my experience with reading the book of Jeremiah was. I finished it about 3 days ago, and to be quite honest, it was what I expected. A lot of things, Old Testament God, a lot of His judgment, and a lot of His. Well, I'm always reminded of that song by that '70s group, by the Rivers of Babylon, because of the fact that the children of God, the Israelites are taken captive into Babylon. There is a judgment upon the nation. Um, Jeremiah talks about it. He proclaims it. He's punished for it, and there is a judgment upon the people of God because of their disobedience. What I am reminded of, and I constantly remind myself, is that is all leads back to the cross. The reason why I say that is because some people can get bummed out by why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why does God act this way? And everything is from the very beginning of the book of Genesis all the way to the book of Revelations. It's about restoration. It's about redemption. It's not about a person making their own way to God. It's about God making his way to us through the person of Jesus Christ, his only begotten Son. And I wore my cross today. I don't usually wear it out too much, but I just wore it out today. Sometimes tucked in my shirt. I wore a white V-neck today, and sometimes I didn't. But it was pressed against my chest as a reminder for myself, even if no one else saw that God saved me, that I was a sinner saved by grace, not through works, not through anything I've done. But going back to Jeremiah, it just goes to show you how things are, how the God that is the same God that will punish evil, he will restore people to redeem to glory. And it might not be in the way that you think. It might not be on your timetable. And Jeremiah, he pleads with the people. He pleads with Israel. He pleads with the nations for them to make themselves right. And I'm constantly aware that you can only do that through the person of Jesus. The reason why we're a cross with no Jesus figure on it is because Jesus was risen. That's just my own personal thing. He saved me from my sin, and he's not on the cross continually dying. It's not a forever torment for him. It was a time of separation from God, but it was also a time of healing for the people. Just as the John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life." And almost 27 years ago, for my situation, circumstance, I called out to Jesus Christ, and he saved me from my the torment and the sin and the ugliness that I was going through, the hurt, the pain, all of that. And this book was the book of Jeremiah was very intense, and it took over a year, maybe a year and 2 months, for me to go through it because I like to be thorough. I'm not a fast reader. It's ironic. I'm a writer, but I'm not. I don't write that fast either. But I'm not a fast reader when it comes to reading anything. The Bible, I have to read it 3 or 4 times before I really get it into my mind to think about it. Reading comprehension, because I could read a bunch of words and forget about it like in 5 minutes. But I will tell you that this book of Jeremiah was very good for a number of levels. And sometimes Christians have a tendency to just focus on the easy books, the New Testament, forgiveness. But they also have to remember that God is a God of letting people have the consequences for their actions. Let's put it that way. He is a God that is a gentleman that will not force his will upon us. He will not force himself to do anything that you don't want to do. But the consequence of putting your hand on the stove as a little kid is get burned. And in some ways, that's how I saw the book of Jeremiah, that the people of God disobeyed, and they did so much when God told them, don't do this, don't do that, don't have that idol, don't do this, live this way. Even when Jeremiah was told, you're going to be captive in Babylon. You're going to be captive by the enemy, but you're going to uh, prosper there. You're going to make a way where there is no way that you might think is hopeless, and don't give up hope. There's going to be restoration. It's in I forgot where in the middle of Jeremiah, but it's in there because it's like, wait a second, this is not a book of like judgment without help. This is a book of restoration and redemption. And it might not be seen that way from the first reading. That's why it took me a while to read it, because I read passages over and over again to see where's Christ in the book of Jeremiah. And I found him several times. And Jesus even spoke of Jeremiah. That's a big thing too. Anyway, you guys have a safe one. Be blessed and take care.